Hello, squirrels. I'm back with another chapter. I was asked to come back on, and I think I said I might anyway. Today's was pretty short. Chapter 8. Short or not, this is the only one I'll do tonight. We were rather silent on our way down to the police station. Haddock drew behind a little and murmured to me, "You know, I don't like the look of this. I don't like it. There's something here we don't understand." He looked thoroughly worried and upset. Inspector Slack was at the police station, and presently we found ourselves face to face with Lawrence Redding. He looked pale and strained, but quite composed, marvelously so, I thought, considering the circumstances. Melchett snorted and hummed, obviously nervous. "Look here, Redding," he said. "I understand you made a statement to Inspector Slack here. You state you went to the Vicarage at approximately 6:45, found Prothero there, quarreled with him, shot him, and came away. I'm not reading it over to you, but that's the gist of it." "Yes." "I'm going to ask you a few questions. You've already been told that you needn't answer them unless you choose." "Your solicitor," Lawrence interrupted. "I've nothing to hide. I killed Prothero." "Ah, well," Melchett snorted. "How did you happen to have a pistol with you?" Lawrence hesitated. "It was in my pocket." "You took it with you to the vicarage?" "Yes." "Why?" "I always take it." He had hesitated again before answering, and I was absolutely sure that he was not speaking the truth. "Why did you put the clock back?" "The clock?" He seemed puzzled. "Yes, the hands pointed to 6:22. A look of fear sprang up in his face. "Oh, that. Yes, I altered it." Haydock spoke suddenly. "Where did you shoot Colonel Prothero?" "In the study at the vicarage." "I mean, in what part of the body?" "Oh, through the head, I think. Yes, through the head." "Aren't you sure?" "Since you know, I can't see why it's necessary to ask me." It was a feeble kind of bluster. There was some commotion outside. A constable without a helmet brought in a note for the vicar. It says "very urgent" on it. I tore it open and read, "Please come to me. I don't know what to do. It's all too awful. I want to tell someone. Please come immediately and bring anyone you like with you. Anne Prothero." I gave Melchett a meaning glance. He took the hint. We all went out together. Glancing over my shoulder, I had a glimpse of Lawrence Redding's face. His eyes were riveted on the paper in my hand, and I had hardly ever seen such a terrible look of anguish and despair in any human being's face. I remembered Anne Prothero sitting on my sofa and saying, "I'm a desperate woman," and my heart grew heavy within me. I saw now the possible reason for Lawrence Redding's heroic self-accusation. Melchett was speaking to Slack. "Have you got any line on Redding's movements earlier in the day? There's some reason to think he shot Prothero earlier than he says. Get on to it, will you?" He turned to me, and without a word I handed him Anne Prothero's letter. He read it and pursed up his lips in astonishment. Then he looked at me inquiringly. "Is this what you were hinting at this morning?" "Yes, I was not sure then if it was my duty to speak. I am quite sure now," and I told him of what I had seen that night in the studio. The colonel had a few words with the inspector, and then we set off for Old Hall. Dr. Haydock, it's Haydock. It's kind of funny for a doctor. Haydock. A very correct butler opened the door with just the right amount of gloom in his bearing. "Good morning," said Melchett. Will you ask Mrs. Prothero's maid to tell her we are here and would like to see her, and then return here and answer a few questions?" The butler hurried away and presently returned with the news that he had dispatched the message. "Now let's hear something about yesterday," said Colonel Melchett. "Your master was in to lunch." "Yes, sir." "And in his usual spirits?" As far as I could see, yes, sir." "What happened after that?" "After luncheon, Mrs. Prothero went in to lie down, and the colonel went to his study. Miss Lettuce went out to a tennis party in the two-seater. Colonel and Mrs. Prothero had tea at 4:30 in the drawing room. The car was ordered for 5:30 to take them to the village. Immediately after they left, Mr. Clement rang up. He bowed to me. I told him they had started. Said Colonel Melchett. "When was Mr. Redding last here?" "On Tuesday afternoon, sir." "I understand there was a disagreement between them." "I believe so, sir. The colonel gave me orders that Mr. Redding was not to be admitted in future." "Did you overhear the quarrel at all?" asked Colonel Melchett bluntly. Colonel Prothero, sir, had a very loud voice, especially when it was raised in anger. I was unable to help overhearing a few words here and there. "Enough to tell you the cause of the dispute?" "I understood, sir, that it had to do with a portrait Mr. Redding had been painting, a portrait of Miss Lettuce." Or Lettice. Melchett grunted. "Did you see Mr. Redding when he left?" "Yes, sir, I let him out." "Did he seem angry?" "No, sir, if I may say so, he seemed rather amused." "Ah. He didn't come to the house yesterday?" "No, sir." "Anyone else come?" "Not yesterday, sir." "Well, the day before?" "Mr. Dennis Clement came in the afternoon, and Dr. Stone was here for some time, and there was a lady in the evening." "A lady?" Melchett was surprised. "Who was she?" The butler couldn't remember her name. It was a lady he had not seen before. Yes, she had given her name, and when he told her that the family were at dinner, she had said that she would wait. So he had shown her into the little morning room. She had asked Colonel Prothero. She had asked for Colonel Prothero, not Mrs. Prothero. He had told the colonel, and the colonel had gone to the morning room directly dinner was over. How long had the lady stayed? He thought about half an hour. The colonel himself had let her out. Ah, yes, he remembered her name now. The lady had been a Mrs. Lestrange. This was a surprise. "Curious," said Melchett. "Really very curious." But we pursued the matter no further, for at that moment a message came that Mrs. Prothero would see us. I know my sweater had a black sweater on. It really doesn't go with my white and black, but it's brand new. I just got it from Amazon. It was on sale, and I love it. One of these days I'll knit me one. Or crochet. I hope. Anne was in bed. Her face was pale and her eyes very bright. There was a look on her face that puzzled me. A kind of grim determination. She spoke to me. "Thank you for coming so promptly," she said. "I see you've understood what I meant by bringing anyone you liked with you." She paused. "It's best to get it over quickly, isn't it?" she said. She gave a queer half pathetic little smile. "I suppose you're the person I ought to say it to, Colonel Melchett. You see, it was I who killed my husband." Colonel Melchett said gently, not this again. And I just took my Flonase. That's what it was, that nose spray. My dear Mrs. Prothero, oh, it's quite true. I suppose I've said it rather bluntly, but I never can go into hysterics over anything. I've hated him for a long time, and yesterday I shot him. She lay back on the pillows and closed her eyes. That's all. I suppose you'll arrest me and take me away. I'll get up and dress as soon as I can. At the moment, I'm feeling rather sick. Are you aware, Mrs. Prothero, that Mr. Lawrence Redding has already accused himself of committing the crime? Anne opened her eyes and nodded brightly. I know, silly boy, he's very much in love with me, you know. It was frightfully noble of him, but very silly. He knew that it was you who had committed the crime? Yes. How did he know? She hesitated. Did you tell him? Still she hesitated. That at least she seemed to that. Then, at last, she seemed to make up her mind. Yes, I told him. She twitched her shoulders with a movement of irritation. Can't you go away now? I've told you I don't want to talk about it any more. Where did you get the pistol, Mrs. Prothero? The pistol? Oh, it was my husband's. I got it out of the drawer of his dressing table. I see, and you took it with you to the vicarage? Yes, I knew he would be there. What time was this? It must have been after 6, 20 past, something like that. You took the pistol, meaning to shoot your husband? No, I meant it for myself. I see, but you went to the vicarage? Yes, I went along to the window. There were voices. I looked in. I saw my husband. Something came over me and I fired. And then I went away and told Mr. Redding what you had done. Again, I noticed the hesitation in her voice before she said yes. Did anybody see you entering or leaving the vicarage? No, at least, yes, old Miss Marple. I talked to her for a few minutes. She was in her garden. She moved restlessly on the pillows. Isn't that enough? I've told you. Why do you want to go on bothering me? Dr. Haydock moved to her side and felt her pulse. He beckoned to Melchett. I'll stay with her, he said in a whisper, whilst you make the necessary arrangements. She oughtn't to be left. Might do herself a mischief. Melchett nodded. We left the room and descended the stairs. A smile? No. I saw a thin, cadaverous-looking man come out of the adjoining room, and on impulse I remounted the stairs. Are you Colonel Prothero's valet? The man looked surprised. Yes, sir. Do you know whether your late master kept a pistol anywhere? Not that I know of, sir. Not in one of the drawers of his dressing table? Think, man. The valet shook his head decisively. I'm quite sure he didn't, sir. I'd have seen it if so, bound to. I hurried down the stairs after the others. Mrs. Prothero had lied about the pistol. Why? And I think that's it. Yeah. That's it. Sorry it's another short one. I think it was a little longer than the other. Okay, it looks like the next chapter 9 is going to have some Miss Marple in it. Yay! Look, I ordered these little doodads on Amazon because think I was at Gina's when she and somebody on her live chat, here they've got 2 fingers using them, but when you help your stitches through, you know, that's why I said I like the prim needles, because they've got that little nub on the end that's not sharp, yet you can still get your knitting needle, you know, through the stitches. It's not a problem. But I'm sitting here knitting on this. When I knit, a lot of times, well, there I use that finger, but when I get to this point, I'll do that sometimes. There's just sometimes that I do it. And by putting this on here, with this little guard on here, keeps your fingers from getting stabbed. Not showing you very well using it right now, but anyway, as I go on down, and this is that 1 row lace repeat, although it's not very lacy with this big fat yarn, but it's still right pretty, I think. Rectangular wrap. But anyway, that's what it's for, to keep from when you're helping your stitches through, which I do. Just not while I was showing y'all. It just didn't come up like that, of course. I love the colors in this yarn. Smoked fruit. A tea cake. All Ginger's fault. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed. Now what in the world? I don't think either one of them. I think maybe. I don't know. Maybe it was lettuce. Lettuce. I don't know. What do y'all think? Leave a comment. Who do you think did? Who done it? And why? Have a good night. Be sweet. Don't be ugly. We'll read some more tomorrow. Love ya. Bye-bye.